Nom Nom delivers fresh food with whole ingredients backed by veterinarian science. Science tells us that a dog's health starts in the bowl, so improving their diet is one of the best ways to help them live a long and happy life. Nom Nom's food is full of proteins your dog loves and the vitamins and nutrients they need to thrive. All you have to do is order, pour, and serve. Ready to make the switch to fresh? Order Nom Nom today. Go to https://trynom.com/curveball and get 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's https://trynom.com/curveball. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to Living the Dream with Curveball, a podcast where I interview guests that will teach, motivate, and inspire you to stop at nothing to fulfill your dreams. Today, I am joined by the CEO of Drive Digital Advertising. In the first year, his company generated $225,000 plus in revenue. He started owning a business at a young age, so he's going to be talking to you about you can fulfill your dreams no matter what your age is. Luke, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Curtis. I'm really excited for this conversation, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some value with your listeners.
Why don't you start off by telling the audience a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, sure thing. So, I really, didn't have an idea, that entrepreneurship was something I wanted to get into, like for my whole life. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, when I was younger, I was, doing a lemonade stand, selling this or whatever. I was actually quite a studious young person. And I was the salutatorian of my high school senior class. So the second best grades in the whole graduating class. And a lot of people thought I was going to go on to be maybe like a lawyer or a doctor or something. It required a lot of schooling. But honestly, it just wasn't really the path for me. And eventually, I kind of decided I wanted to make money at a younger age. And a lot of those occupations, obviously, you need a lot of schooling to do so. And not only did I want to make money at a young age, I wanted to have an impact on a young age. And really the only way that I found out that I could do that was through maybe starting my own business. So I eventually learned about online marketing. I started, getting some of my own clients and, starting able to help some businesses. And it really just kind of snowballed from there. So at Drive Digital Advertising, we have done a variety of digital marketing services. We've designed websites, done search engine optimization, ran Facebook, Google, YouTube ads for over 50 small businesses in the last 2 years. And right now we're specifically focusing on helping people in the legal industry. So individual attorneys, law firms of all different shapes and sizes acquire more consultations and more cases. And it's been a very interesting journey. And yeah, that's a little bit background.
So you decided not to be a lawyer, but you decided to be a marketing agency for lawyers.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely am more interested in that sort of thing. But it's cool. And I don't know if I want to, how big I want to grow my agency itself, but I do know that I'm definitely going to stay doing stuff online. And online marketing, online business, because that's really what I'm passionate about, whether it's helping lawyers or helping dentists or whatever, or even just helping young people and other people, kind of like what your podcast does, make them understand that there's ways to live their dreams by, creating their own business online, for example.
Well, tell us about, speaking of young, tell us how you were when you actually got your business up and running and how it was successful in the first year and the things that you did to make it be so successful. Because a business can be successful, but they might not generate or do as good as you did for the first year. Doesn't mean that they're not successful.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it was a lot of work for sure. And so I started my digital marketing journey when I was about maybe 17 or 18. And that was like the beginning of 2019, I would say. Like January 2019 is when I first got into it all. And then I just kind of did some freelance stuff at first. And then in October of 2019 is when I officially started Drive Digital Advertising. So when I first started out, my dad is a graphic designer and a freelancer. And, he actually was able to, he kind of gave me some of my first, not gave me some of his first clients, but he was like, hey, this is what my son is doing. Is there any, does anybody need help with some stuff? And those were how I got some of my first clients. And I just did a lot of like cold outreach to businesses saying, hey, I'm a young kid. I'd love to help any way I could. I remember one of my first clients was actually a law firm that I designed a whole new website for them only for like $400 or something. But that was the first real like client that I had gotten 100% on my own. I had no previous contact with them, no relationship with them before. And I just reached out to them on Facebook and said, hey, would you be interested in working together? And I went in pretty much like the next day, and I, kind of just pitched them a little bit, and, handed me a check and we got started. So I still actually have that check hanging up in my old bedroom at my parents' house as kind of a reminder where I came from. So after that, I really, like I said, just started doing more and more outreach. And as, my clientele grew, my number of testimonials grew. People could see, oh, even though he's a young person, he knows what he's talking about. He gets good results for people. So that made people more willing to work with me. And I was constantly focusing on expanding my network and reaching out to other opportunities, not just cold calling businesses. I was joining networking groups and, joining Facebook groups and doing all different types of stuff, really doing whatever I could, honestly, to get new clients. And that's what I would definitely encourage anybody who is wanting to get into starting their own business online, whether it's an online marketing agency or not. It definitely takes a lot of work, and you definitely have to get used to people saying no, because, when you're just starting out, you might not have as much experience and as much, of a reputation to back up what you're saying to these people. So you're probably going to get a lot more no's than you do yeses. And, you can't take it personally. You can't let that stop you, because if you do let those few no's stop you, you may only be one no away from getting that yes that could potentially change the trajectory of your business, really.
So when you first started, you talk about being so young. Did you have any problems with people telling you no because, oh, you're so young, you might be immature. Why am I going to pay you all this money to help me with my business? Did you have any issues with that?
Yeah, I definitely have had a couple. But a lot of times I know, as my business kind of was really growing during like the pandemic, a lot of times I would just be talking to these people initially off like over the phone. So they really wouldn't have any idea of how old I was. I remember one time, I was meeting with a client, I got a new client. And then I actually, the person that I was talking to from the company was just like the HR manager, or so he was like a step down from the actual business owner. So then I remember when I came in for the first time to meet him, and I ended up meeting the owner of the business. He kind of was a little bit apprehensive, was like, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, well, I'm here designing the website for you guys. We're shooting a video for you, and he's like, oh, you're running this whole thing? It looks like you can barely even drive a car. And, the more I was talking to him, the more he was like, understanding what we were actually doing and understood I knew what I was talking about. And a little bit later, he was like, hey, I'm sorry about that joke. I didn't mean any offense. And I was like, oh, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. But honestly, a lot of times people, I feel like they recognize that being young and doing what I'm doing isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I grew up in the social media digital age, so I know this stuff like the back of my hand. Obviously I've got a lot more technical training as well, that other teenagers might not have. However, there's a base knowledge that I feel pretty much any, 20 something year old has that, these 40, 50 year olds that are running the businesses, just might not have as much. So I run into that too, is that people, they understand that even though I'm young, I do know what I'm talking about because I kind of grew up with all of this.
So tell us, if I contacted you today and said, hey, Luke, I need you to help me with my digital marketing, what could I expect? What are some of the services I could expect to get from your company?
Yeah, so like I said, in the past we've done web design, we've done search engine optimization, Facebook ads, Google ads. Specifically for lawyers right now, what we do is we have something I've coined the claim method. So this is a 5-step process. The C stands for creating a plan. So that's coming up with, what types of cases we're going to look for, where, like, focus on, where are we going to focus on? Is it the whole United States, or is it only one state? Is it only one city or county, for example? Then the L in claim stands for lead generation. So this is actually us running the ads. So, running the Google ads, running the Facebook ads, just seeing which ones are working better. And so that's what we do to generate the leads. But, I'm sure, if any of your listeners or people listening have ever tried online advertising before, a lot of the leads that you can generate is that, unfortunately, they just aren't as good quality. They might put in wrong phone numbers or old phone numbers, or because it's online, they might just put in their contact information but not really want to be contacted. So to save the lawyer's time and effort, we actually have a team. And the A in claim stands for appointment setting. So we'll go and give these leads a call and actually qualify them for the attorneys to figure out if they're qualified or not. We'll ask them questions, and then if they are, we'll live transfer them directly over to the attorney so they can start speaking with them, or we'll book them into the attorney's calendar. Then the I in claim stands for instant follow-up. So we have a CRM that all the leads go into. The leads get appointment reminders if they set an appointment to try and increase the show-up rate. We have follow-up texts and emails that can get sent out, voicemails, a whole lot of real cool technical stuff that we can do for our clients. And finally, the M stands for more cases, because everything that we're doing really should be enough to start really increasing the number of cases that we're generating for our clients. And we do have a satisfaction guarantee that will, generate a certain number of booked appointments for our clients based on what their budget is. So that's a little bit of a brief overview of specifically what we're doing and some of the other services that we've offered as well.
The second part to that question is, there's a whole lot of digital marketing agencies that are out there. How do you feel your marketing agency will stand out from the rest of them?
Yeah. So, I really do think our claim process is a very important part of that. Like I said, a lot of lead gen companies stop at generating the leads. All they do is they send these, contact information to people. So they do basically the C and the L of the claim method, but they don't finish it. So we have, our goal is to get our attorneys, people, as close to the close as possible. So, like I said, the appointment setting really sets us apart. The instant follow-ups that we do, text and email, that sets us apart. But also, we're a smaller team, so we have a more quicker support. We have a more personalized approach. This isn't a cookie cutter program that, it's like the same thing for everybody. We make sure to tailor it to our unique situation for every business, because we know every, law firm has their own unique situation. So we're able to provide a much more personalized service, as well as all of the leads that we do generate are unique to the attorney. So it's not like one lead gets sent out to 5 law firms. It's only going to one law firm. Really, those are some things that I think are really kind of setting us apart right now from the other marketing agencies that are out there.
You are tuned in to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast. I'm your host, Curveball, and we are talking to Luke Hyde, the CEO of Drive Digital Advertisement. We'll be back right after this commercial break. Nom Nom delivers fresh food with whole ingredients backed by veterinarian science. Science tells us that a dog's health starts in the bowl. So, improving their diet is one of the best ways to help them live a long and happy life. Nom Nom's food is full of proteins your dog loves and the vitamins and nutrients they need to thrive. All you have to do is order, pour, and serve. Ready to make the switch to fresh? Order Nom Nom today. Go to https://trynom.com/curveball and get 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's https://trynom.com/curveball. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Welcome back to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast. We are talking to Luke Hyde, talking about fulfilling your dreams. If you want to own your own business, it doesn't matter your age, and he is a living example. So, Luke, tell us some of your successes that you've had in the short time of running your business and being on the path of running your business.
Yeah, definitely. So, I honestly, a lot, obviously, the money, the revenue that we've generated is great to get attention for people. But I say this on my sales calls, not for a sales tactic, but honestly, because it's true. The win for our business, the biggest wins for our business are not when we get paid by the clients. Our wins are when our clients have success. So, the biggest successes for me aren't just, oh yeah, we hit, our yearly goal of $250,000 in revenue. That was awesome. That was amazing. But what was even more impactful for me, just to give you a brief example, one of our clients in December was a local winery that got a grant actually to work with us, because they were kind of on the brink of losing business. They were going to go out of business because of COVID. And we worked with them. They only had $1,000 ad spend budget, but in 1 month, in the month of December, they had their biggest month in sales ever in the history of their business. And they shot us a really nice video testimonial. You can go on our website and check it out. Cheryl and Kirk Matheson, they are amazing people, and being able to help keep their business afloat was awesome. I love doing that, and being able to help other businesses, is something that really, really makes us happy, really makes me happy. But other than that, I've been able to be on a lot of other podcasts recently, a lot of news publications, like Young Upstarts, Medium, Yahoo Finance, and it's kind of spreading my message, spreading my story, which has been fantastic. And finally, one of the coolest things I'd say too, because of my success, is I've been able to give back and give presentations to young people. So local high schools in my area, and other young classes and groups of young people across the United States, actually. Talking to them about online marketing, talking to them about how they could get started doing something at a young age. And I've had people from those reach out to me and say, "Hey, Luke, thank you so much. Your words are so inspiring. I've had other people ask if they could intern at my company before, and or just interview me to ask me more questions. And having that positive impact on the world is really something that I'm proud of, and I want to do more of that. So I would say those are some of the biggest, kind of accomplishments and things we've been able to achieve, really in a short while, like I said.
Talk about some of the failures or mistakes that you feel that you have made on your journey.
Sure. Yeah, there definitely have been a lot of mistakes and failures, and they're obviously not all my fault per se. They're just things that happen. Kind of a funny story is I started Drive Digital Advertising with the idea that my business was going to be focused solely on helping car dealerships. I like cars, and I thought, helping car dealerships sell more cars using online advertising is what we'd want to do. And because of that, I thought, oh, Drive Digital Advertising is a cool name that would resonate probably with car dealerships. But I called a bunch of car dealerships. I had a couple meetings with car dealerships, but I could never actually close any of them and turn them into clients. So at that point, I kind of had to think to myself, okay, do I want to keep hitting my head against the wall, trying to call car dealerships, but getting nowhere? And then, I decided, hey, maybe I should just adapt and shift. So I started reaching out to different businesses, not really worrying about my name. And ever since then, nobody's ever mentioned about my name. I can tell you that sometimes people get it wrong. They'll get it. They'll mix up the name, which is totally okay. And honestly, sometimes there have been, luckily enough, we have been fortunate to never have any unhappy customers where they are leaving us bad reviews. But sometimes there's just campaigns that aren't working out as well. With COVID, that really changed a lot of different stuff. So I had clients who were working with us, and they said, hey, Luke, I'm sorry, but because of COVID, I can't spend as much money anymore, or I can't spend any at all. So I'm going to have to stop working with you. So COVID was definitely a struggle working through that, figuring out how we were going to adapt to, kind of the decrease in budget and, honestly, the increased need though, in digital marketing. And I mentioned it earlier. I'd say the biggest, failures that we ran into are the simplest, just people saying no, or I get ghosted all the time by, people who say they want to work with me, and then, nothing goes through. And it's weeks and weeks I'm following up these people, and they could, would potentially be great clients, but unfortunately nothing goes through it. So, all of that comes to say that I think, having perseverance in a small business or any type of business, or really, any aspect of your life, persevering is super, super important to having success, no matter what age you're at.
You talk about having a business running for 6 months, but had it shut down due to a disagreement. Talk about that if you can, and tell us how
Oh,
that
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, definitely. So, before I ever started Drive Digital Advertising, when I first started learning about digital marketing, I actually I created an Instagram account where I posted about digital marketing kind of as I was first learning about it. And I had a username, and I started getting some traction where, in 6 months, I had 20,000 followers all across the world. People leaving me comments saying, oh my gosh, Luke, I love your content, blah, blah, blah. And I got some people reaching out to me asking if I could help them with XYZ marketing problem. But at that 6 month mark, I got an email from somebody saying, hey, your Facebook, your Instagram username and your website URL, those are words that I have trademarked. So my lawyer is actually going to be contacting you to have, everything shut down. And I was like, oh, geez, is this even real? Is it, what's up with this? Because what didn't even seem like that official of an email. So I didn't think much of it at the time. But then a day later, and before his lawyer even contacted me or anything, I got a email. I tried to get onto my Instagram, and it said your account has been suspended for trademark violation. So I kind of put two and two together and realized that this guy reported me, all because of this username. And I'm sure, many of you listening know changing an Instagram username is very, very easy. So I messaged him back really quickly on email. I said, "Hey, sir, I'm just an 18-year-old kid. I didn't mean to, no offense. I didn't even know it was trademarked. None of my content has anything to do with your trademark. I can change my username super easily. So could you please just take back your report that you sent to Instagram?" And I got a real blunt response of him saying, "Sorry, I already sent it in. There's nothing I can do now." And that was it. He didn't offer to help me at all, nothing, really cold. And I have tried everything since then to try and get my Instagram, my followers back, but nothing has worked, unfortunately. And so it kind of, to flash back to what I was saying before, I had that. So from January to June of 2019 is when I ran that Instagram account. And then, 6 months into it, around June, July, is when, I had to think, okay, is digital marketing still something that I want to do? And it definitely was, but I wasn't sure the way to go. So at that point, I started freelancing. And eventually in October, I started Drive Digital Advertising.
Well, do you guys have any projects at your company, or do you have any personal projects that you're working on that people need to know about? Any books, any courses, anything like that? Any podcasts of your own?
Yes. Yeah. So I do have a program called the Small Business Digital Roadmap. And this, is something that I created that any small business could really use. And it's designed for small businesses without a lot of money or technical experience. And basically it just teaches them the foundation of how they can set up their digital foundation and get started with all the different aspects of digital marketing that they would need to know to kind of get launched into it. So you can go to lukehyde.com to learn more about what's included in everything. And if you're interested, purchase the program and check it out for yourself. It's a 6 module video program. Other than that, I'm just burying my head down, trying to grow this agency more. I'm hoping eventually I'll start. I actually used to, when I was in middle school, write books and self-publish fantasy novels. So at some point, I'd love to get back to that and write a book, maybe about my experiences or just offer expertise, and eventually do more public speaking. So hopefully soon you'll see Luke Hyde's name everywhere. And you can go get some more, maybe a book or attend to a seminar or something.
Well, go ahead and give out your contact information, your full contact information. I know you just mentioned your website, but how do we connect with you on social media? Try to get them
Yeah,
followers
so
built back up.
yeah, so if you want to find me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at Luke Hyde Digital, or just Luke Hyde. And if you want to learn more about our agency, you can go to drivedigitalads.com. And like I said, if you want to learn more about the Small Business Digital Roadmap, you can go to lukehyde.com.
Do you have any final thoughts before we close it out? Any words of encouragement for potential and future business owners out there, or people thinking about it but kind of having some self-doubt or fear?
Yeah, I would just say that the most important step in taking, I would say the most important step in getting started with a business or doing anything in life really is that first step. You can think about all the things that could go wrong and, never get started. But what happens if you do actually get started? Sure, some of those bad things might happen, but you'll never know unless you try. And I really encourage people to get started as soon as possible, fail quickly, learn and grow. And, that's really the only way I truly believe you're able to achieve what you want to achieve in life. You can't just be sitting around waiting for opportunities to come to you. Sometimes you actually have to make opportunities happen. An analogy that I use sometimes is, so you can't just wait for the door to open. Sometimes you actually have to build the door and open it yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Hyde. Make sure you check out his services. and follow him to keep up with everything that he's doing. Luke, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Curtis, and thank you everyone for listening. I hope you got some value out of this one.
And if you did get value out of it, please be sure to follow, rate, review, and share this episode after listening. For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.